You don't need a miracle, just change your mind. I would want to start today with what I refer to as the overview of the Spirit leadership. I'd like to share a few short but impactful sayings or principles that I want you to remember. 1. What's holding you back isn't who you are. If you don't believe you are, again, that's not who you are. Keeps you back. You are not what you believe yourself to be. It's the thing that keeps you back. 2. Situations are sometimes beyond your control. However, you are always in charge of your own thinking. 3. Until you change your mind, nothing changes. 4. Transformation is brought about by conversion, not by information. This is just a quick comment on this one. How many of you have mentioned that this individual is seated? Have been here for the past 15 years in front of me. Despite all of this excellent instruction, some people still behave badly. All you may have said was, "I know you did." The individual seated 5 seats away from me has been spending the last 12 years here and listening to all of this amazing, faith-filled, positive instruction, and nothing has changed. Still the same individual, still the same mindset, still the issues. Suffering from the same sins and facing the same challenges. Really, have they not learned anything? The response is in the sentence. Let's go over it once more. Transformation is brought about by conversion, not by information. 5. The word's teachings bring revelation to impart instead of. However, metamorphosis results from the Spirit's transfer. Reiterate that revelation results from word instruction. However, change occurs when the spirit of that term is transferred. 6. That's the man, as a man believes in his heart. A guy is what he thinks in his heart. 7. This one appeals to me. The world's most challenging project is the process of reconstructing the human mind. Going to Mars is simpler than making a change. The human psyche. 8. You are the culmination of all the conditioning you have received. To reflect. Were you aware that miracles don't alter people's opinions? Kindly put that in writing. Make a note of it. People are not changed by miracles. A few of you are saying, "Well, I won't move until God gives me a sign." You will not be moved by that sign. How often a piece is placed outside your door, you continue to do what you do even though God swears it. How many times have you forced us to swear by your word? And you continue to accomplish what you promised God you would do. Who is watching this show at this house and listening to this while traveling down the road? There have been many miracles with recordings. Compared to Israel's children, none of us. For 40 years, food has been falling out of the sky for everyone. Just go get breakfast in the morning, you don't have to go to work. And he modified the menu after they complained. Isn't that a miracle? Has anyone here ever experienced thirst? I did not have to pay any bills at the water corporation. A rock gives you free water every day. It's a miracle. Talk to me. Has anyone in this room ever owned a pair of clothing that never 40 years of wear and tear? Is that a miracle? Does anyone here ever fix shoes that haven't worn out in 40 years? According to the Bible, Lord of mercy, their shoes didn't wear out. I'd like to know what style that was. Who was that makeup artist? Is that a miracle? Has anyone ever been ill but chose not to visit a hospital? And spending $40 for the initial visit to the doctor? No, you went to look at a brash stir serpent while he was ill. On a pole. I'm referring to free medical care. Rather, healing merely to observe the condition. Everything simply vanished from you. You were immediately healed. That truly is a miracle. We didn't all have miracles like that. Has anyone ever seen? At night, a cloud pillar indicates which corner to navigate. Or cloud by day, which indicates which curve to bite into. No, this type of direction was never given to us. Nevertheless, These folks had it for 40 years. Let's read the opinions of those who witnessed miracles. Verse 17, Pharaoh's release of the populace. Everyone understands it. Exodus 13. When the Pharaoh released the populace. You're going to believe what you read. The path across the Philistine area was not guided by God. Despite the fact that it was shorter, emphasize that. A few years ago, my wife and I traveled to Egypt. And we were astounded that we had made the journey from Israel to Egypt. And we arrived quite fast. I initially believed they had gone somewhere else, but I later understood. Over the Sinai Desert, we soared. I'm in awe of the sky when we touched down in Cairo. Egypt and Israel could both be seen simultaneously. Wait a minute, 40 years and a half, I said. My guide informed me that the distance between Egypt and Israel is now a month away, a 35-day hike. They were taken from Egypt by God. And the location he intended to take them to was named. There are 30 days in Canaan, the country of promise, milk, and honey. Within a month, they were expected to arrive. 40 years passed. It was still a long walk to nothing, and they failed. I now want you to pay attention to what the Bible says. When they were taken from Egypt by God, He did not guide them through the way. Even though it was shorter, it was a Philistine country. He could have arrived there in a month that way. What's wrong? Because God stated that He is now considering. They might change their mind if they are confronted with conflict. Mind. The intellect is already troubled by God. These individuals are freedom from persecution. However, I have an agreement with this thinking they get. They will reconsider if they are confronted with war. And look at what he says, and return to Egypt. Could you think that the imagination is more powerful than a promise? Whoa! If your intellect is capable of handling it, I am aware of what God promised you. That's a difficult realization, and you won't understand it. It depends on your mindset, regardless of how big His promises are. This is a revelation to me. You need to be certain after all that prayer. Your disposition is prepared for the response. Your mindset dictates whether or not you can. The promise of God for your life. The way you think affects whether you get. You own what God taught you. As a result, I consider what God said to us today. Prophetically has to be heard once more by everyone. For you, I've set a table. But get ready for the table, please. What I'm trying to say is that they won't change their minds. Put this in writing. They fell prey to historical and mental conditioning. They were victims. That is an issue. They were sufferers of historical and mental conditioning. Right now, I'm speaking in the 21st century. We are now victims. A victim, as you know, is someone who can aid in their historical conditioning efforts. It's a conditioning history. Clearly, God thinks that people's opinions can be altered. Following 400 years of persecution, God thinks that people's opinions can be changed. If you didn't think it was true, He would never have tried. The people are unable to alter their opinions. The people fail, despite God's belief that they could.